This is the FOTOWELT UFO shaped Bluetooth speaker. Um, this particular speaker comes with the instructions, a micro USB cable, and a male-to-male auxiliary cable. The instructions are fairly basic and could be a bit more detailed with a bit better translation, although that's not uncommon with various electronics on the market these days. You know, they don't call this a UFO speaker for nothing, as it really does, to me, look like some type of round spaceship. And it's about half the size of a large cereal bowl, standing about 1.5 inches tall, roughly 8 inches in diameter. This one's black with a silver metal strip down the middle here. The bottom is a plastic. It has three like silicone legs that are non-skid and keeps it from sliding around, that kind of thing. It does look pretty stylish and modern. I like the look of it. It's kind of cool. It has a metal grill here on the top for the speakers, and there's a center, I guess you'd call maybe center speaker or even a bass speaker, you could call it, in the middle that helps it provide the bass that it has. The speaker itself feels pretty solid. It's well made. It isn't so heavy that you can't comfortably move it around, but it does have a good solid feel to it. You know, and the one thing about this that I like is this is more than just a standard Bluetooth speaker feature. You know, it has several features, including an alarm clock, FM radio, the phone call functionality, MP3 player capability, either using a microcard or even the USB slot. Playtime is somewhere in the 10 hours range if you're using it as a music speaker, and longer if you use it as a clock, although if you're using it as a clock or alarm clock, I would keep this plugged into a wall outlet. On the back of the speaker here, you've got your various different slots and device and power switch, the micro charging cable, the card slot, the USB slot, and a auxiliary port. On the top are the different function buttons, including the volume and play pause, Bluetooth, next back, that kind of thing. And the one thing I actually like about it is it's got a display feature on it, which a lot of speakers don't have. The buttons themselves are positioned pretty well, but when you consider some of the features, such as the alarm clock, they're a bit small, and the symbols are kind of hard to read. I'll try to bring it up close. They blend in. They're kind of hard to read as well because they blend in, especially if you're going to use it as a clock or alarm, you know, feature. You know, the button should be bigger, spaced a little bit bigger, especially if that's what you're using this for. Also, setting up the time and the alarm and the radio stations aren't really as intuitive or as easy as they should be, and lacking maybe a few features, or at least features I couldn't find. For example, I could not find a way to change this from a 24-hour clock mode to 12-hour mode. You know, I really like the digital display, not so much for the clock alarm because I do feel it's a little small for that, but for me, the FM radio mode, you know, I've reviewed speakers that have carried that feature before without a display, and I really don't like not having a display. This one allows you to see what frequency you're on, which is really good. I'll try to flip on the switch here to kind of show you the display. There it's beeping to let you know it's Bluetooth ready, and there it is to indicate that it paired already with the phone, because I've already done that. But like there's the radio feature. You can clearly see the display. You can clearly see the display on it, and it allows you to see what frequency you're on, which is great. But you know, the one feature it does have is you can manually search for the radio stations, but it has an auto search that automatically finds the frequencies it can locate and automatically programs in. Now that's both, to me, a good and a bad thing, because it automatically finds all the stations in the area, but it also keeps the ones you don't want. And I couldn't find a way to either manually add stations that it didn't find, and I couldn't find a way to delete those unwanted stations. So, and the instructions aren't clear whether you have that ability to do that at all, and I've not found a way to do it. But as a FM radio, though, minus the small annoyances, it actually does work pretty well. The one quirk about this is the display won't show the clock if you're in FM radio or Bluetooth mode. You have to be in clock mode. I would have liked that, have that ability to display that at the same time, but it's kind of a minor issue. Pairing worked fine with me on my Android phone. As you can hear, it beeps when it's ready and beeps when it's paired. Display indicates a BT when it's in Bluetooth mode. And the Bluetooth range was as good as any I've used, and continued to play for at least 35 feet without any kind of interruption. Now, the sound, you heard a little bit with the FM radio. I didn't try to sit it down to give a good demonstration. My webcam probably won't give a good, accurate representation. But the sound was actually pretty good, with actually surprising amount of bass with the speaker positioned in the center. The sound was clear with only a slight distortion at maximum volume, but pretty good sounding for a speaker this size and this price range. Now this also has the ability to play various formats with a microcard or the USB, and it automatically plays that if you put one of those in and has those formats. The speakerphone capability is okay. But I found I needed to speak a bit close to the microphone, and personally I don't like using these speakers as a phone answering device anyway. Overall, this is a unique looking speaker. It's packed with lots of features. Some are implemented better than others, really. I mean, there's some things that could be done a little bit better with this, but the speaker does have good Bluetooth range. It sounds reasonably good with a surprising amount of bass, with a little bit of distortion in high volumes. Some of the issues I found, though, the buttons are a little small, the display's a little small, and markings are hard to see on the buttons, especially when you consider the alarm clock feature. The FM feature, although not perfect, at least has a display which is has a leg up on at least speakers that include that feature without a display. And the feature setup isn't quite as easy as it should be, and there's a few features lacking. It's not quite perfect, but it's still a pretty good speaker overall, and I give it 4 stars.